Black women friends, before you go abroad trying to date men all around the world, wait a minute. Let me tell you a few things. Don't try to date around the world until you know this. Okay, we're going to cover a few things in this video, but first, hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm a house sitter. I'm the creator of House Sitter School and the co-creator of Exodus Summit. And on this channel, we talk about sabbaticals, bopping around the world as a nomad, moving abroad, house sitting, all while embracing ease. If these things sound good to you, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscribe button, please. Thank you. And then turn on notifications, ring the notification bell. You'll be notified when I post a new video or when I go live with my friends. Welcome. Welcome. Okay, so I saw Gloria Atanmo's video, like you probably did. I saw Gloria Atanmo's video, 5 countries Black American women are secretly finding real love. She's Glo Atanmo. She's the blog abroad. She's been all over the world. She's been to 100 countries. I believe I've been to 40. One day I'll sit down and count it sometime soon. And I've been a solo person in these parts. And so I just want to share a little bit. I've also had this YouTube channel for several years, and I've interviewed women, Black women from the US, primarily from the US and the UK and Canada and the Caribbean, who have also been all over the world. And we've talked about dating. And so I think you need to know a few things before you go out here trying to skip abroad, skip to Malou, and think you're going to whatever. I don't know what you think, but let's talk about some things I think you should know. First, you should know that I am going to stereotype and categorize and share my experiences as if they are the experience. That's how I am. Okay. That's how it is over here. If you're not into that, if you don't like that, relax. Okay. Relax. We're just going to have a good time. It's a few days before Christmas. We're just having a good time here. All right. Number one thing you need to know, inside of the Exodus Summit community, which is the community that I co-founded along with Rashida Dow, there are 26,000 women, Black women in that community who are planning their move abroad. And inside of that community, Mexico is a very popular place. Mexico is very popular with Black women because it's not that far if you need to come back and forth for some reason. It's relatively well priced, right? Good food, right? You're going to eat really well. And the people in Mexico are very good to Black women. When you go to Mexico, you'll be surprised how kind, how community minded, how business minding people in Mexico have been compared to the people that we're used to in the United States. And so Mexico is very popular. But listen, if you're going to Mexico and you want to date men in Mexico, and you are an average height American woman or taller, you need to know that men in Mexico are short, okay? Men in Mexico are short. It's not, I'm 5'9". I'm an average height person. And it's not uncommon for me to be in a place and be looking over everyone's head, right? I feel 8 feet tall in Mexico, and that's a thing that you should know. I'm not telling you that you can only date men who are taller than you. I'm not telling you that, okay? I'm just telling you that men in Mexico are short. A lot of Latin American countries have very small people. There are some countries in Latin America that women love to visit that have men who are the same height as the men that we're used to in the United States, okay? But Mexico is not one of those places. However, when I house sat in Mexico for like a couple of years off and on. I think 2018 and 2019, I spent house sitting in Mexico and then going someplace else and house sitting in Mexico because Mexico gives you 180 days on your tourist visa most of the time with a US passport. So I spent, out of 2 years, I spent at least a year in Mexico. Maybe out of a year and a half, I spent more than a year in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, you know what I'm saying? I spent quite a bit of time in Mexico. And I did find that Mexican men were like, oh, look at her. And it's a place where they don't mind hollering at you. They don't mind speaking up and saying something as compared to Costa Rica, where men almost never like said, oh, I think you're beautiful. Men in Mexico would say stuff like that. Not necessarily men that I was into, right? He might be 75 with one tooth, okay? But he gonna let me know that he thinks I'm pretty. So that's a plus. Whereas there are places where men are much more reserved or are not going to open up their mouths and say anything to you. And that's a different kind of situation. So let's move into point number 2. You need to have a hobby. You need to have interests if you want to meet and date men in other countries, because well, you already know this, like the go out, just leave the house and meet men scene is dead, except in France, right? The idea of just leaving your house and, somehow you meet men. I don't know if that exists anywhere in the world, except in France. It does seem like it's still a place where you just leave the house and boom, there's a man talking to you. In other places, you need to have a hobby, interests, especially in more conservative places. You need to be able to meet people through like some formal setting, as opposed to just walking out of the house and having somebody be like, bonjour, ma jolie, which they will do in France. They will be like, especially in Paris, they will stop and be like, hey, hey, hey. Now, again, it may not be the type of dude you want to hang out with, but they do exist. Okay, so number 2 point, you need to have hobbies probably and interests instead of just relying on being pretty and leaving the house. Okay, let's see. What else do I want to make sure you know? Oh, Australian men, don't do it. So I have a bone to pick with Australian white people or Australian people, except for the Aboriginal people in general. And that is that they're racist. They're not good people. Australian people are not good people. You need to understand that. But if you are in Australia, like I was on a work exchange and I spent a whole summer there, which was their winter. Men will connect with you. Men will holler at you on the apps. But Australia was the most pen pal-ish country I've ever experienced. I've never experienced a place where men were just so hungry for a pen pal and were not willing to do any work or lift any finger to plan a date, a meetup, a night out. Zero work, zero effort. I think it's because Australian women are very bossy, like very in charge, but I don't know which came first. I did work exchanges in Australia and I stayed in homes of people who either were Australian or at least lived in Australia for years. And the women are in charge. Like the women, it's the most lopsided, one of the most lopsided in terms of like family dynamics. It's one of the most lopsided places I've been. I've been to places and stayed in homes with families as a house sitter and as a person who did work exchanges. I've stayed in family homes, and Australia was one of the most lopsided places in terms of responsibility. The women did everything. Okay. The men did nothing. And that shows in the dating world. If you want a man you can boss around, have at it. Australia. Okay. All right. Another thing I think you should know, all South Africans are going to be so in love with you. If you've never gotten attention from a man, this is real talk, okay? I'm 51 years old, and I do know that there are women in the world who have never experienced real attention from a man. If you've never gotten attention from a man, I can see a woman going to South Africa and getting really caught up because they know how to give attention, okay? They know how to fall in love like that. If you haven't had an experience of a man paying attention to you and you want that experience, you can go to South Africa. Okay. Now, be warned. Okay. If I think it's not for beginners, I think dating in South Africa is not for beginners specifically for that reason. I think that I can see a woman losing everything, right? Like, just like you would be like, girl, maybe not Jamaicans. Okay, maybe not Jamaica. I don't think you're ready for Jamaicans. I think South Africans are in there. And this includes South African residents who are from around Africa, right? Black people in South Africa are from around Africa. I don't think it matters if he's Nigerian or Zimbabwean. I think in South Africa, they know how to talk that talk. Okay. They know how to act like they're in love with you. And I can see someone feeling very flattered and happy about that feeling. And I can also see someone getting really caught up, right? Getting really hurt. South Africans, they're going to fall in love with you in 10 minutes. Okay. If you want to experience that, be forewarned. Okay. Black American men. So inside of our community, sometimes women want to move abroad, but they still want to date Black American men. Black women are moving abroad at what I think are record paces, record rates. I think. I'm not a numbers, I'm not a data scientist, but I think we're going to look back at this time and say there was a great Black migration, and we're going to say the start date was some date that's already passed. The next great Black migration of Black people, Black Americans leaving, and this time leaving leaving the country and going abroad. I think we're in the midst of a great Black migration. Black women have led this great migration. And I feel for Black women who still want to be in relationship with Black men when they go other places. There are Black men that do travel. There are Black men who do move abroad. But for Black women, moving abroad is often about the life you want to live. For Black men who talk out loud, okay? I'm not talking about the Black men who don't share, okay? But the Black men who share their reasons out loud on the internet are doing it to get women in those other countries, right? Black men love going to Colombia because they want to get them some Colombian women. Black men love going to Thailand because they want to get some Thai women or Thai people. They want to date Thai people. So if I was a Black woman, I would have to learn, and I am a Black woman. If I were a Black woman who was solely interested in dating American Black men, Black American men, I would try to heal that. I would try to let go of that before I started moving abroad, my move abroad plan. Or I don't know, do you need to let go of that ahead of time? Or I would just, try to figure out how to make peace with the fact that it's probably not going to happen. It might happen. There are Black men who move abroad. So Krishan Wright is the founder of Blacksit Global, and her community is men and women. Her community is Black people. And there are men in Krishan's community who move abroad. What I will say that I've experienced is most of the Black men I know who've moved abroad with their wife, right? You don't see single solo Black men who you would want. Mostly, you don't see them when you leave the country. They exist. They're real. I've met some. Okay. I'm stereotyping here. I've met some. But I think that I wouldn't hold my hopes out on meeting them in another country. Okay. I would either be more open to dating different people, or you know what? I wouldn't focus on dating at all. That's my 2 cents, okay? So did we cover everything that I think we needed to cover? When you watch Gloria's video and you take notes on places where Black women are finding love around the world, watch that video with all the hope and expectation that you desire or have. I may need to cut that out. If I didn't cut it out, just make sense of what I said, okay? It's been a long day. I'm in a coaching program, plus I'm coaching in a coaching program, and I'm coaching in a second coaching program today. It's one of those days, okay? But yeah, if you're going abroad to find love, or if love is on the menu, right? It doesn't have to be reason number one, but it can be a reason. I'm down with that. I think you should have everything that you want. This is not a video where I'm going to tell you to give up on it. I think you should have the things that you want in your life. I also think that you should improve your odds. Okay. So if you want a man who's taller than 5'5", Mexico probably shouldn't be the only place you go. Okay. I'm not saying you can't move to Mexico, but you may want to do a whole lot of travel as well. If you want to start dating in another country, you probably want to get some hobbies. Let's improve your chances, right? Join the group that does whatever thing you're into, the running group. I've seen running clubs in Colombia, in Bogota. Join the art group, join the whatever, okay? Get you some hobbies. Stay away from Australians unless you want a pen pal, or unless you want to be the boss, the whole 100% boss. I'm not talking about you're 50-50 boss. I'm talking about if you want to be in charge of everything, every decision ever made inside of a relationship, you may enjoy an Australian, but if not, I don't think that's for you. Okay. If you want to feel, if you want to feel doted on, South Africa is a place where you can go and improve your odds. Okay. And if you want a Black American man and you also want to live in another country, maybe open up the aperture, as Krishan would say, open the aperture just a little bit. Okay. A little bit. Expand your options, improve your options. Okay. If you are interested in moving abroad and you're like, but I don't know where I want to be, and I don't know how to get started, I have a great resource for you. It's called the Which Country Should I Move to quiz. The link to the quiz, of course, is already in the description of this video. It's exodussummit.com/quiz. The quiz will give you an answer. It'll ask you a few questions and it'll give you an answer. That doesn't mean that answer is the place you should move to, but it means that that is a place you can start your research. And it means that those questions are questions you should be asking and answering for yourself to find a place that you would enjoy. Okay. Which country should I move to quiz? exodussummit.com/quiz. And if you're a Black woman, come on, join our community, exodussummit.com/community. It's like I said, on Facebook, we had 26,000 members. We've moved off Facebook very recently. We've moved to a platform that actually costs money. So now there is a $1 one-time fee to join the Exodus Summit community, but it's a community of Black women who are interested in moving abroad or taking a sabbatical abroad or bopping around the world as a nomad. If you're interested in leaving the country, spending some time abroad, join us in the Exodus Summit community. You're going to learn how to make that possible for yourself because some of the women in our community have already done it, even if they didn't think it was possible before they started the plan, right? And some of the women in our community are all over the world. So go ahead and join us, exodussummit.com/community, so that you can know what is possible for you and so that you can have support and connection with other Black women who are working on those things. And so that you can come to some meetups and meet people in person. One of the best, there are many best things about the Exodus Summit community, but one of the best things is that we get together. I'm in exotic Dover, Delaware with my parents until the beginning of the new year. And we have a meetup coming up, and we have some meetups coming up around the United States in the next few weeks. So join us in the Exodus Summit community if you want to meet some of the women in the community and start planning your exodus and get some accountability buddies and learn how to do this thing. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, wait. Before we go, hit the like button, please. I'm still waiting. Thank you. Okay. And then turn on make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Saturday, I believe I'll be talking about some things that you want to learn or practice doing while you're working on your move abroad plan. Some things you want to practice doing before you move abroad. So make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on so you don't miss that video. Okay. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Hit the like button, share this video with a Black woman you know. I'll see you next time. Bye.